What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Coffee Talks Live with Stizzo Speaks. What's happening? How are you guys feeling? This is my YouTube channel where we talk about all things lifestyle, leadership, leveling up in love. And today I'm excited because I got my guest Nikki joining. She will be in the building momentarily. But if you're just logging into this YouTube page, I talk about all things leadership, lifestyle, leveling up, and it's mainly for my women out there because it's all about women's empowerment. However, my fellas, don't you worry. You can always learn something from an episode of Coffee Talks, and I will have guests on who are male guests because they have information that can definitely help the community as well. So if you haven't already, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it out to your friends. It's about leadership, lifestyle, love, and leveling up on Coffee Talks Live. We are live at 1 right now. This episode will be up right after this, but if you're usually here at 4 p.m. Pacific, you know what time it is. So I'm going to see my guest is in the building. I'm going to go ahead and get her on. Hi! Welcome to Coffee Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here. How's everything?
Busy, but busy's always good. Productive.
Productive. Busy is good. Yes.
There's a big difference.
I love it. Well, welcome to Coffee Talks Live. This is a series where it's really about women's empowerment specifically, but again, it's open to the entire community of human beings. And we talk about all things leadership, lifestyle, love, and leveling up. And today is a little bit about lifestyle and also a bit about leadership and leveling up too, in terms of your path of your journey, your career. And it's all about how to become the 1%, which 1% is such a small number, but if you can become that 1%, it's so impactful. So I'm excited to have this conversation. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I already, love this energy, but I'm Nikki. Some call me Coach Nikki. I'm a basketball coach. I coach AAU, so 7th, 8th grade girls. And I also help run my family's business. So it's Rainbow. So it's direct sales of an air purifier. So my family's been doing that for 20 years now. And so I'm over here, trying to help them out, taking a huge role as well as, becoming a basketball coach. So like you said, it's really leadership. And I love to, my passion is really bringing out the best out of, my peers. Most especially, on the basketball court too, because, that's what all starts. Like as a young woman, you and I, we've been there. And so instilling, those values and disciplining them, having confidence in yourself, loving yourself. That's, I feel like, is a huge thing in leadership. But that's basically what I do. I was born in the Bay Area.
Okay, Bay Area. No, you can't mess with the Bay Area. Man. They hold each other down. The Bay. I remember I was in Vegas for All-Star Weekend, circa 2008, somewhere around that time frame. And when they played music for Bay Area, when I tell you those people went crazy, they went crazy. It's a whole different culture and community. I love it.
I'm telling you, yeah. So born in the Bay Area, moved out here to LA for my family's business 14 years ago. So I kind of got the best of both worlds, but it's totally different. Bay Area is a whole different culture.
Yeah, I need to get up that way. I went to, don't give me the line on here. Is San Fran? Is that the one that's across the bridge?
So San Francisco, yeah.
Okay.
That's the main
so I always say I didn't go to that school. When it comes to geography, I'm like, what? Where is this place? But I went up there, and so I crossed the bridge, but I didn't actually go into the Bay Area. I'm like, I need to get over there and see what's about.
It's a vibe. It's fun out there. It's not like LA, but
awesome.
They got their own culture.
I love that. And I love what you said about leadership and thinking about basketball. The first person that comes to mind all the time when I think about basketball is Kobe. And his leadership and his discipline. Yeah. And you literally learn so many skills when you're on the court. And something that I pulled from the motto was converting basketball game situations into life lessons. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because just reading that motto, I was like, that's really impactful, because there's so much that happens on the court. And I don't have a big background in basketball. Like, I did March Madness when I was in college, like meaning participated, and did Around the World, I think it's called, where you shoot the ball from different made 0 shots, by the way. So I'm not super familiar, but again, when it comes to leadership, discipline, I can understand and grasp the concept of how these life lessons translate from the court to our actual personal lives. So talk to us a little bit about that motto, because I think it's really impactful.
So I feel like I live by that. You know, growing up playing basketball, my dad put the ball in my hands at like 2nd grade, right? And, you know, from the start, this sport, I fell in love with it because it really brought the best out of me. Like, you saw me, I'm tiny. You're like, oh my God. Like, when I first met you, like, you are so tiny. And, you know, like, you know, sometimes, like, at first I felt discouraged. I was like, dang, like, I'm small, I can't do this. But ever since then, like, I've always learned to play with a chip on my shoulder, right? And so basketball really tested my mental strength, my physical strength. And so to talk about like discipline, right? You have to be disciplined. You got to be on time. You got to be on time to practice. You have to, you know, get your extra workouts in. You got to put extra work outside of the basketball, outside of the court, right? And so that's just like in life, right? So in life, you got to be on time to your work meeting. You got to be able to, you know, create the best out of your peers, like I said. But so my position was, you know, point guard. And point guard was basically like, you know, quarterback, you know, in football, you're leading the team, delegating the team, your teammates what to do. And so what I got from my dad was that being a point guard is, you know, is telling them what to do, but bringing the best out of them. It's like it's giving them encouragement, saying, look, literally like grabbing them, be like, look, you could do this. Grab the ball, wait, be patient, and then use the pick and roll. And so it's, you know, ever since then, like I've learned to bring the best out of your peers. I've learned to apply that in real life situations, right? And you know, leadership in basketball is just really like learning the strengths of your peers and utilizing those strengths so you can all work together as a team.
Right.
And that's basically it. Right. And you know, that's like one thing about leadership. Kobe Bryant has been a huge inspiration to me, you know, rest in peace, Mamba. You don't even have to play basketball to, you know, give respect to him. Like for you, like you know him, like he was like basically the face of the sport. And so, you know, every time Kobe is brought up in a conversation like this, you know, it gets emotional, right? Because he has literally given 110%, you know, to the game. And you could tell like he plays so much with heart. And that's basically, you know, what I got. Kobe is, you know, a huge inspiration to everybody. He's instilled so many life lessons, values
Are we here?
Yeah, we're here.
I turned my Wi-Fi off because it kept going in and out, so I was like, let me turn it off. Okay, we back.
Oh, no,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Girl. But yeah, to become the 1%, like this man would literally wake up at 4:00, get his workout in, right? So that was his routine. He was a father, so he had to cater to his kids, go to the Staples Center, go to practice, and, you know, do that all over again. But he literally would put extra work. He was injured so many times and he kept going. So I really truly feel like that is really what it takes to become the 1%, like doing things that other people are not doing.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head with leadership. You know, I always say leadership, the foundation of leadership the foundation of everything is set on the basis of leadership. And leadership is influence first. And that influence comes from helping others identify their strengths. And when I was in the space of working in management and retail, literally that is something that I mastered, right? And that's something that a lot of people looked up to me for, because they didn't understand how to identify someone's strength set to get them to work smarter and to get them to work as a team. And once you unlock that code, it's like, it's endless opportunities for success thereafter. You know, people want to understand what they're good at so that they can get better at that thing. They don't want to know what they're not good at, because what they're not good at is not going to make them work any harder. Although as humans, we're almost like conditioned to talk about the things that we're not great at, right? Like when you go to a job interview and they're like, all right, so tell me some of the things that you want to work on. And you're like rambling 1, 2, 3, 4, you can an entire list of things. And then when they're like, well, what are your strengths? And it's like, you go back to having to think for a second, because we're so conditioned to think about what are we not great at. And so being a leader and identifying strengths in others is something that is a really great skill set to have and something to practice. And that's where you know your gift and your purpose is really working through others and working for others, when you can do those kind of things. And, you know, Kobe being the person that was the 1%er, a leader for his team, and also someone who really understood it doesn't stop at just finishing the job. It doesn't stop at walking off of the court when the game is over, whether you win or lose. It's like you have to do the extra work and go the extra mile to become the 1%. The 1% doesn't happen for many people, and that's why it's 1%.
Exactly. And that's literally why, correct. So it's 1%. But I feel like another thing that you talked about was when you talk about like your weaknesses, right? Also being a leader is to have other people learn how to get over adversity, the fear of adversity, right? Because especially, you know, at a young age, this is why I love, you know, coaching so much, is because, you know, I've been there, done that, and I know what it takes, right? To play as a, you know, young woman, to play at the collegiate level, or, you know, to like, it's not a lot of people are given that opportunity. So, you know, I know what it takes. And to have these girls, you know, be scared, you know, to make a move, to be scared to, you know, execute the play correctly because they're scared to get the ball snatched. But it's like, it's okay. It's okay if you make a mistake. I literally said this at practice the other night, last night. I was like, it's okay if you make a mistake. It's not okay if you don't keep going. Right? Because a lot of us people here, you know, we learn the most from our failures. And as an athlete, that's literally, you know, that's what I preach. Every time, you know, the girls get a loss, you know, I'm like, look, it's not a loss. It's a lesson learned. It's a lesson gained. Like take those lessons, add them to your bag, and then apply them. So I feel like fear of, to the fear of adversity, right? That's another huge thing. I feel like just fear in general.
Fear in general, absolutely. Like so many people, and I'm human, and I always say I'm very honest, I'm very transparent, and that's why I think a large portion of people who do follow me, like in terms of social media, they understand and they resonate with the fact that I can be so genuine and authentic and like show my true colors without fear. But I'm afraid sometimes. Like I literally just,
it don't seem like it though. It really don't seem like it.
It happened. It's a real thing. And I literally just put out this event that I'm doing the end of the month. And I was afraid, right? Because I didn't have all the parts and all the components put together. I have the vision. I know what I want, but I didn't have all the parts. And I was like, nope, can't do it yet. And I was like, yo, get out of your head. That is like fear trying to take over, because fear comes from the unknown, right? It's something I've never done in LA before, not familiar. I'm working with someone else. So it's like, okay, they have a portion that they have to take care of, but it's also my name. So we come up with all these stories and ultimately we either do it or we don't. And I was like, you know what? Do it. And have you ever had moments where you're like, you're talking yourself off the fear ladder, and then you get a sign from somewhere that's like, no, that's what you should be doing?
Yep.
It's crazy how that works. It's crazy how that works.
It's crazy. So it's like, it's really in your head too. So that's another thing, mental toughness. It's like you are what you think.
Yes.
And so that's so huge to me. And trust me, I have been working on that myself as well. I'm sure everybody has. Because whatever you say to yourself, is huge. That's literally how you live. And at the event that you had, there was this one quote. I totally forgot who said, I think it was AD. He literally quoted, you have to be wealthy in your mind first before in your pockets. Yeah. And so I feel like that translates, to being an athlete, to being an entrepreneur. You already have to know that, okay, I got this. I'm going to win this game. Like, I'm going to make this move. Like, I'm going to make X amount of money. Like, if you do not have that mindset already, that you could be a great leader, then there's no way in hell that that's going to happen.
Right.
Thoughts are so powerful.
Oh, for sure. And that's why a lot of people who go to masterminds or go to conferences or buy someone's course online or pay for a coach just to learn their secrets end up not being successful because they don't have the mindset. Like, it starts with the mindset. Someone can show you how to make 6 figures plus the way they did it. But if you don't have a 6-figure plus mindset, you're not going to become that 1%. Like, it's not going to happen. It really starts with the thoughts that you tell yourself 1,000%. And a point that I wanted to go back to, because in terms of leadership, I thought was very important that you mentioned is, when someone has a weakness, an opportunity, something that they need to work on, and showcasing to them that weakness and opportunity is just an opportunity for you to learn, right? Like, don't be afraid to execute the play because someone might snatch the ball from you, because at the end of the day, if they take the ball from you, you might have had a weakness in terms of your form. Again, this is me not knowing basketball, but you might have had like a weakness. Maybe it's your form, or maybe it's the speed, or whatever it may be, but that's going to show you, okay, this is something that I need to work on. This is a muscle that I need to flex. And most exceptional, if not all exceptional leaders, understands to make notice of the weakness and opportunity to help change it, not highlight it. And what I mean by that is not making the person feel afraid or ashamed or embarrassed about their weakness to the point where they don't want to present it anymore and they just like go into a shell.
Right. And this is why I love like coaching so much, because you get to build like that relationship with that person, and you get to see like their body language. Like, if I see a girl get so down on themselves, and it's psychology. Coaching is all psychology. So I can tell, I'm like, look, I know you made a mistake. I will lift them up, because as a young girl, like, it's girls and boys, two totally different worlds. Like, coaching, like for us, we get emotional. We love and we care so much that, like, my girls love and care so much about the game that it's like when they make a mistake, it's like, dang, like, I really can't do this. But it helps when somebody's like in your ear, be like, look, you can do this. Like, you just have to believe in yourself. Like, sometimes, like, I'm like, dang, like, that sounds cheesy sometimes, but it's like so true. Like, you have to believe, like, you really truly have to believe, and you cannot be afraid of like your defender, right? And just like in life, entrepreneurship, right? Some people, for instance, Fenty makeup, right? So it's like, why is Rihanna is huge name brand, right? But there are so many other name like makeups out there, right? And it's like she's still excelling in what she's doing, because she's not worried about her opponents. She's not worried about the other people going against her, right? So she kept going and going. She got her lingerie line, she got that, she has her music. So that is truly what I think makes the 1% the 1%. They're not worried about other people.
Absolutely.
And athletes as well, right? Kobe Bryant, when he has the ball, Steph Curry, when they got the ball, they do not care who is in front of them. They will shoot the ball, they will make a move, they will create a play, right? So I feel like that, again, in leadership, you really shouldn't care about what other people think about you. I feel like that's another thing where, hinders a lot of people to become their best selves. They're worried about who's talking about them.
Right, 100%. And in terms of the age range that you coach, so it's 7th to 8th graders. We were like 11 and 12 in 7th and 8th grade, right?
Yeah, 12, 13.
12, 13. Okay. I was like, I remember, because I was bullied in the 8th grade, and I always remember, like, how old was I when this happened? I think it was 12. And so at that age, what do you find is the number one thing that young women at that age are challenged with?
Social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember growing up, like, I was so focused. Like, I watched Disney Channel. That's literally all I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so focused on, loving the game. I wanted to be outside. Like, I wanted to, like, shoot some hoops, play with my friends in the neighborhood. But I feel like social media has a really big impact on, a kid's growth, kids, mental health. And I'm speaking this, as a coach's perspective, and, as a woman too. It's like they see something and, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get this, I want to get that, right? And so, as a mentor, this is why I really instill, I preach this to, love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do not care about what you see on social media. Do not care about what you see on the street. Love yourself. So I feel like, if they love themselves, they're going through like some growth changes. They're growing up, they're going through all that, which I love to, witness as a young woman. They're getting out of their shell. I just like love watching them grow. But I really do feel like social media is really a big aspect that hinders a lot of, growth. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good things out there. There's a lot of things that inspire them, just like this, I don't know who will watch this, but I really do hope that, they get at least, certain gems from, this coffee talk. But I feel like it's that and, not entirely like loving themselves. I know at a young age, you and I, we both gone through it, like middle school, all that. Like, I was so worried about what so-and-so was going to think about me. I was so worried about that. But you know what? Now, as a grown woman, like, I realized, if I just didn't care at that age, I could have done so much more.
Yep.
So, and that's like my goal with whoever I coach, whoever I encounter, just to like love yourself.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that. And if you're just tuning in, this is Coffee Talks Live with Stizzle Speaks. And I got Nikki here, who's a basketball coach, entrepreneur, fitness guru. And we're talking about, leadership and leveling up and becoming the 1%. And, this is why for me, this 40K challenge that I created is so special. And like, we have to collaborate on this. You have the age range for the girls that I'm looking to partake in this 40K. So 40 young women between the ages of 10 and 18. And part of the day is facilitating a course around self-love, self-awareness, self-worth, and self-confidence, because we are at a time, unfortunately, where social media is so impactful, and that if we don't create the right thought filters, we're going to lose our generation and our generation of women to things that are just not positive, right? And like, back in my day, I didn't have to worry about a BBL. Like, that wasn't a thing, right? And it wasn't like we were competing. We were competing like, oh, I like this boy, you like this boy. Who's this boy gonna like? But it wasn't about like, oh my God, my hair looks a certain way, my teeth. Like, I didn't get my eyebrows done until I was in college, right? And so it's like, nowadays they're exposed to so much that causes them to overthink their greatness. And so this 40K is so important to me. The vision is so clear because I didn't have these things when I was a kid. Like, I walked into my first mansion at 38 years old, right? Wow. I didn't understand like a mansion. Like, I can afford to do this if I have my life set up the right way. I can dream bigger. So we definitely gonna collab on that for sure.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
It's gonna be a whole movement, a whole great day. So in terms of the fitness, I do want to talk about the fitness a little bit because I'm someone who my 5 days a week in the gym. I'm better on some weeks than others. But like today, for example, I was like, you know what? You got to get in there. I don't care what's going on. So I went in, even though it was a half an hour versus an hour, I was like, go in the gym.
You got to show up.
You got to show up. Girl, sometimes it's so challenging. But for anyone watching who's like, okay, I want to be on this fitness journey. I know I want to do better with my personal health and wellness, but I just don't know where to start. Like, when did you start working out, and kind of what's been your path working out?
Well, little backstory. So, I mean, I've been an athlete all my life, and like I feel like every athlete, once an athlete, always an athlete, but that doesn't stick with a lot of people because, life happens. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just became, addicted to the grind. Like I was literally obsessed. And I also had, some confidence issues too. Like, I feel like high school, I was like a little chunky. So I was like, no, I got to do something about this. So, I, kept working out. And so, being an athlete, I just love being an athlete. I love, lifting heavy. I love, running and all that. But I actually tore my ACL twice. So
Wow.
I've already had two major knee surgeries. So one was my senior year in college. So I didn't play my senior year. And then one was 2 years ago where I played in the Drew League, Women's Drew League. And then I was going up for a layup, and then I come down here, my knee pop again. And I automatically knew this is an ACL because it happened already.
Right.
And I was supposed to try out for the national team for the Philippines, and girl, that broke my heart. And I had surgery the February right before the world shut down, right before the pandemic. So girl, I was depressed. I was, gaining a little, actually, no, I didn't gain a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight. So all this muscle that I worked hard for, gone. Doing physical therapy during the pandemic. So I was literally there. It was just me and like the doctor over there, physical therapist, and like in that room, depressed because, I was so addicted to working out. I wasn't used to slowing my life. I had to learn how to walk again.
Right.
And so like to do like a simple squat after X amount of, months, I was just so happy. And so, I just been through it so many times. Like I've been, in my darkest moments, as an athlete, tearing your ACL, that's probably the worst injury somebody that can happen to an athlete. And for me to do it twice, I just want to let, anybody who's watching or, anybody on here to, that like anything is possible. Like your body, if you're going through something, your body will heal. If you want to get on your fitness journey, it literally takes, it's all mental first. Like first of all, you got to show up. If you don't show up, then nothing's going to happen. So show up, and every single day, and this is why I also, created my brand inspired by Nipsey, lay a brick every day, because, if I didn't do my therapy every day, if I didn't show up every day, then I wouldn't have my strength back.
Right.
So yeah, this is what I made over the pandemic. It's kept me going. But fitness wise, I just, love being healthy, because if you are not healthy physically, you cannot perform well. That's just me, right? Take care of your body now so that later on you don't have to. Because my family, I'm Filipina, so we got a history of, we love to eat. So we got cholesterol, high blood pressure, all that, taking this medication. I was like, I don't want any of that. I don't want to have to worry about any of that. And so if you love yourself, you truly are willing to invest in your fitness lifestyle. Right? You got to look good. You got to feel good.
Right. Yeah.
And that's literally what I live by. Health is huge to me.
I love that. And you're right. It's important to do it now, because the drug industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? And they want us to be addicted to medicine because there's so much money tied into that. And it's like, take care of yourself now, do the hard work, short short-term pain for long-term gain, so that you don't end up in a position where you're 40, 50 and you're faced with all these things and injuries and you can't even, take your laundry down because it's too heavy. It's like, work at it so hard now to be better later, but it also teaches you discipline and structure. It's like, if you're supposed to go to the gym at X time, you're showing up there. Now you're working on your discipline and your structure and your life. But I do say fall in love with the results, because the result is what's going to get you to go. Like I literally, in the beginning working out, it was challenging because I wasn't seeing the result. I'm like, I've been in here for a month, 5 days a week, and I don't see one muscle, right?
I ain't see nothing.
I don't see anything. This is not working. Mind you, I know my opportunity is I need to eat better because I'm working my muscles and not feeding them. But anyway, my point was, when I started to see the results, like I would go put my hair in a ponytail and I'm like, girl, you got some muscles going on. And that's what you have to fall in love with if that's what your priority is, right? So my priority is to actually see a physical change in my body. And so when I started to see it, I was like, oh, I'm getting up, I'm going to the gym. It's tricep day, And you have to fall in love with that first, and then appreciate the journey versus celebrating what you see as the end of the success, because there's always something else. Like once you reach your goal, there's something else. Once you hit 1 million, there's something else. So be mindful of that.
I'm gonna second that though. You said the fall in love with the results, right? Which is I totally agree upon. But if you fall in love with the process, if you fall in love with the process, the result and more is going to happen. Like it's just going to come. Right. Because I'm going to tie this back into basketball, just because that's how, I think sometimes, like if my player falls, if all they want to do is just win, right? That's going to be in their head. But what is it going to take for you to win? Right? It's really, you got to fall in love with, let's get in the gym, at 6 a.m. right before school starts. Let's, get that extra rep, and let's do one more practice session, So fall in love with that. And then, the results that you love, it'll come. Championship, right? That goal body, right? It all happened naturally.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So perfect. So we're coming up on the half an hour for the show. So I want you to be able to let the guests know, and I'll put the links and all that in the description box. Just reiterate what it is that you do, where they can find you. And I will drop all the information in the description box. But you guys are watching Coffee Talks Live with Nikki. We're in LA on the West Coast. Sunshine and rainbows. I love it.
Yes, man. We're out here in California. Well, I'm Nikki. You can find me on Instagram at Nikki Mungues, and I coach for Team Determined 7th to 8th grade girls. Also, I have a business page, air purifiers. It's at Rainbow of Los Angeles, and it's a water-based air purifier. So make sure y'all DM me if you guys are interested.
I love that. And right before we go out, I ask all of my guests, what do you do on your coffee break?
What do I do on my coffee break, girl? Nothing.
It was good sometimes. Sometimes you
sleep. So I take a nap. Oh, like I literally. So this morning I got my lashes. This is my day right now. So I got my lashes. I worked out in the morning, got my lashes done, had a rainbow client, which is what I do. I do demos. And then I got ready for this, and then I got to go coach later on. And so, like, if I have, like, some time in between, I will literally, like, go to sleep.
I love it.
I will go to sleep. Only because, like, it's just always, on the go. And that's another thing. Like, I got to work on, spending some time to myself, too, because that's so important.
Have to sharpen your saw. It's important. It's important. Man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you so much for taking out the time in your day. I know you're super busy, but to be with us here on Coffee Talks Live, this episode will be right on YouTube right after. I'll put all the information in the description box. But man, keep doing the amazing things that you're doing. Keep coaching and motivating our young women to be better. We will link about the 40K for sure. I'm still in the process of raising money through sponsorship. So if you know anyone, or if you guys are watching and you want to sponsor a young lady for the 40K challenge, A Day in the Life with Stizzle Speaks and Friends, to show these young women how they can dream bigger and dream better, and understand that life is really what you make it. There's resources out here for us to have whatever it is that we want. We just need the opportunity. So I'm creating that day in Los Angeles for 40 young women between the ages of 10 and 18. So I definitely will connect with you on that and some other things. Yep. I appreciate everyone who watched today. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know where to find us next week, 4 p.m. live Pacific. Nikki, thank you.
Thank you so much, girl. Yes, bye.
Bye.